Marie Antoinette. The name evokes images of lavish balls, towering hairstyles, and a queen detached from the plight of her people. Born into the powerful Habsburg dynasty of Austria, her life was a tapestry woven with threads of privilege, tragedy, and ultimately, revolution. Married young to secure an alliance between two powerful nations, she arrived at the French court a pawn in a grand game of international politics. Little did she know the gilded cage of Versailles would become her prison, and the French people her jailers. Marie Antoinette entered the world stage in 1755, the 15th child of Empress Maria Theresa and Emperor Francis I. Born into the illustrious Habsburg dynasty, her early years were steeped in the grandeur and expectations of one of Europe's most powerful families. Her childhood was one of privilege and indulgence, but also rigorous education and preparation for a life of duty. From a young age, she was groomed to embody the virtues and responsibilities of royalty, learning multiple languages, mastering the arts, and understanding the complex political landscape of Europe. At the tender age of 15, she was married to Louis XVI, the Dauphin of France. This marriage was not just a union of two young hearts but a strategic alliance designed to cement the fragile peace between Austria and France, two nations with a history of rivalry and conflict. This union, meant to solidify peace between France and Austria, instead thrust a young, naive girl into the heart of a court rife with intrigue and venomous gossip. The opulent halls of Versailles, with their glittering chandeliers and gilded mirrors, masked a world where every gesture was scrutinized, and every word could be twisted into a weapon. The French court, with its strict etiquette and labyrinthine social hierarchy, proved a challenging environment for the young Dauphin. Navigating this treacherous terrain required not just grace and poise, but also a keen understanding of the subtle power plays that defined court life. Her Austrian manners were seen as gauche, her love of music and dancing, frivolous. Yet these passions were her refuge, a way to escape the relentless pressures and find moments of joy amidst the formality. The pressure to produce an heir only intensified the scrutiny she faced, turning every public appearance into a performance. The eyes of the court, and indeed all of France, were upon her, waiting for her to fulfill her most important duty as queen. Despite the challenges, Marie Antoinette found solace in her relationship with Louis XVI. Their marriage, though arranged, blossomed into a partnership built on mutual respect and affection. He, in stark contrast to his vivacious wife, was introverted and awkward. His reserved nature often made him the target of criticism, but it also meant that he valued the warmth and liveliness that Marie Antoinette brought into his life. Yet their affection for each other was genuine, a beacon of warmth in the cold, formal atmosphere of Versailles. In a world where alliances were often more political than personal, their bond stood out as a rare example of true companionship and love. As Louis XVI ascended the throne, Marie Antoinette became Queen of France. With her newfound position came immense power and influence, which she unfortunately wielded with the naivete of youth. The Queen's extravagance became legendary. Her love for fashion reached new heights, with elaborate gowns and towering hairstyles becoming her trademark. The Petit Trianon, a small palace on the grounds of Versailles, became her sanctuary. Here, she indulged in pastoral fantasies, dressing as a shepherdess and hosting intimate gatherings far removed from the stifling formality of court life. However, these displays of opulence, though seemingly harmless, were tragically out of touch with the growing unrest brewing beyond the palace walls. The French people, burdened by poverty and famine, saw in Marie Antoinette's lavish lifestyle a symbol of the monarchy's indifference to their plight. The Queen, once admired for her beauty and grace, became a target of resentment and anger. Scurrilous pamphlets depicting her as a spendthrift and a traitor circulated widely, fueling the flames of discontent. The year 1789 marked a turning point in French history. It was a year that would forever alter the course of the nation and reverberate across the world. The seeds of revolution had been sown long before, but it was in this pivotal year that they began to bear fruit. With the country on the brink of economic collapse, King Louis XVI convened the Estates General, a representative assembly, in a desperate attempt to address the crisis. This was the first time in over a century that such a meeting had been called, highlighting the severity of the situation. The king hoped to find a solution to the financial woes that plagued France, but the Assembly had other plans. However, the Assembly, fueled by the ideals of the Enlightenment and the grievances of the common people, had its own agenda. The Enlightenment had introduced new ways of thinking about governance, rights, and the role of the individual in society. These ideas had taken root among the populace, who were increasingly disillusioned with the old order. The commoners, or Third Estate, demanded more representation and a greater say in the affairs of the nation. On July 14, 1789, the Bastille, a symbol of royal tyranny, fell to the Parisian mob. This dramatic event was not just a physical assault on a fortress but a powerful symbolic act that signaled the end of the old regime. The fall of the Bastille became a rallying cry for revolutionaries and a potent symbol of their struggle against oppression. The French Revolution had begun. The streets of Paris and other cities buzzed with the fervor of change. Revolutionary flags and banners were hoisted high, and the air was thick with the promise of a new era. The revolution was not just a political upheaval, but a profound social transformation that sought to redefine the very fabric of French society. As the revolution gained momentum, the monarchy found itself increasingly under siege. The once unassailable institution of the monarchy was now vulnerable, its authority questioned and its future uncertain. The revolutionaries were relentless, and the royal family became the focal point of their ire. Marie Antoinette, once a symbol of royal power, became a lightning rod for the revolutionaries' anger. Her perceived extravagance and detachment from the plight of the common people made her an easy target. The queen, who had once been adored for her beauty and charm, was now vilified as the embodiment of all that was wrong with the monarchy. She was accused of treason, of conspiring with Austria against France, and of draining the nation's coffers with her extravagant spending. The accusations were a mix of truth and exaggeration, but they resonated deeply with a populace that was suffering and looking for someone to blame. The Queen's lavish lifestyle stood in stark contrast to the hardships faced by the common people. Despite the escalating danger, Marie Antoinette displayed remarkable courage and resolve. She remained steadfast in her belief in the monarchy and its divine right to rule. Her strength in the face of adversity was both admired and resented, as it underscored the deep divide between the ruling class and the revolutionaries. She urged her husband to stand firm against the revolutionaries, believing that concessions would only embolden them. Marie Antoinette's counsel was driven by a conviction that the monarchy must not show weakness, as any sign of capitulation could spell its doom. She believed that a strong stance was the only way to preserve their rule. However, her pleas fell on deaf ears. King Louis XVI, often indecisive and plagued by self-doubt, struggled to navigate the turbulent waters of revolution. His inability to take decisive action only served to weaken the monarchy further. Louis XVI, indecisive and overwhelmed by the events unfolding around him, proved incapable of stemming the revolutionary tide. His hesitation and lack of clear direction left the monarchy vulnerable to the relentless push of the revolutionaries. The king's failure to act decisively sealed the fate of the monarchy and set the stage for the dramatic and tumultuous events that would follow. Years before the revolution reached its boiling point, a scandal rocked the French court, forever tarnishing Marie Antoinette's reputation. This scandal, known as the Affair of the Diamond Necklace, became a symbol of the decadence and corruption that many believed plagued the monarchy. The infamous Affair of the Diamond Necklace involved a breathtakingly expensive piece of jewelry, a gullible cardinal, and a cunning con woman. The necklace, a masterpiece of craftsmanship, was originally intended to be a gift of unparalleled opulence. Though the Queen had no involvement in the scheme, her enemies skillfully used the scandal to further damage her public image. Pamphlets and newspapers spread rumors and lies, painting her as the mastermind behind the deceit. The tale involved a necklace originally commissioned for Louis XV's mistress, but deemed too expensive even for the king. The jewelers, desperate to sell their creation, saw an opportunity in the new reign. After his death, jewelers desperately sought a buyer, setting their sights on the new queen. They believed that Marie Antoinette, known for her love of luxury, would be the perfect patron for their extravagant piece. A complex plot unfolded involving forged letters and a prostitute impersonating Marie Antoinette. The con woman Jeanne de la Motte orchestrated the scheme with meticulous precision, fooling even the highest echelons of the court. While the truth eventually emerged, the damage was done. The public, already skeptical of the monarchy, found in this scandal a confirmation of their worst suspicions. The scandal played perfectly into the existing narrative of a frivolous, out-of-touch queen. Satirical cartoons and vicious pamphlets depicted her as a manipulative and extravagant ruler, further alienating her from the people. It solidified the public perception of Marie Antoinette as a deceitful spendthrift, indifferent to the struggles of her people. The image of her living in luxury while the common folk suffered became a powerful symbol of the monarchy's disconnect. The seed of doubt, once planted, grew into a poisonous vine that would ultimately choke the last vestiges of public support for the monarchy. This scandal, among others, set the stage for the revolutionary fervor that would soon engulf France, leading to the downfall of the royal family and the rise of a new era.